welcome to Maybe Jamie channel. For those of you who don't know me yet, hi, my name is Jamie, and I finished my A-levels last May, June 2021. I got 3 stars and 1 A for the subjects Business Studies, Accounting, Physics, and also Maths. In this video, I'm going to share with you how to get A star in Physics, some of the tips that I think helped me to achieve the high scores. Tip number 1 for Physics, I do recommend you to look at your good old friend, the textbook. Take a look at the chapter, just have a quick read, maybe for 30 minutes, for 1 hour, for every topic. Just understand what the topic is talking about, take a look at the important points, and you can also actually do the questions here in the textbook. I'll show you, like here, there's a question in the textbook. You can take a look at the question here and try to do it. After you understand, you can also create some notes. This can help you when doing the practice questions or the past papers. Instead of finding like in the textbook, flipping pages to pages to pages, searching the internet, you can quickly just take a look at your notes, and who knows, like looking at your notes, it already answers your struggles. So it cuts the time of finding the right answers when you have like simple notes and formulas or also theories that you can quickly refer back to. Basically, just listen in class after you read the textbook, also participate in class, so when your teacher explains about the topic, try to understand it right in the class immediately. Next, let's go straight into past paper. Here we have a paper 4 in front of us. This is the structured questions paper. Sometimes they ask for definitions, like for example here in 1A, define gravitational field strength. And what we can do here is we can actually just go to the mark scheme and we can see that the answer, they want to see gravitational force per unit mass. Below here, there's also usually like a question where there's much more theory that we need to remember in order to get the marks. For example, like state the purpose of CT scanning, and also the B, it's 5 points, part B. Outline the principles of CT scanning. To know like what should we include to get all the 5 marks, as usual, we can go to the mark schemes, find number 11, A and B. And we can see here, to get 1 point for question 11A, we can write to produce a 3-dimensional image of structure or body. Then, in 11B, we can see the 5 points that we need to include in order to get all the 5 marks. First one, X-ray are used, scanning in sections, scanning from many angles, image of each section is 2D, and the last one, you can choose either one which one to include in order to get the 5th mark. For the calculation part and also the problem solving for the structured question, paper 4 usually for physics, you can try to practice the question, try to do it, see which part gives you mark, which of the workings give you mark, what should you show in your workings, and how should you write the final answer, should you include the units. Try to look at the mark schemes and see which part gives you the mark. This way you can please the graders, and the graders will be happy to give you mark because you include the parts that they can reward you with marks. Another thing for paper 5 or the practical paper, I do recommend you to just do the practice because these kind of questions are really similar like from the past papers. Like it's either one of the situations from the past papers or maybe there's a new situation too, but at least you know how you can answer, and there are some basic answers. For example, we're talking about an experiment relating to sound. Then there are some safety precautions or also steps that we can write in almost all sound experiments. For example, make sure you do it in the room where there's no other noise to make it a fair experiment. What I mean, doing a lot of past paper will let you know what you can include in your answers. For example, in physics, question 1 in paper 5, this is the experiment question. Here, usually we start with like defining the problem, the independent, dependent, and constant variable. List that down and you can get 2 marks. Then you can add the method of data collection, which is like drawing the diagram and also some methods of data collection, like the steps of the experiments. You can get up to 4 marks. And then next we have the method of analysis, up to 3 marks. It's basically you write the formula of the graph, you find the gradient, what is the gradient, and lastly the additional details and safety consideration. It is up to 6 marks. If you know like all that, you know how to answer it easily and just start writing, you know what to include. Because if you don't know what to include, like it's just a blank page with like a question and also the diagram, you're confused in what to write, then it's hard to get marks. But if you already take a look at the mark scheme, you already do a lot of past papers, you know immediately what to write, and this can give you the most marks possible. For number 2, in paper 5, you can also learn about like significant figures, how many significant figures you need to put in your answers, and also don't forget to write your units usually on top of the table. Then the calculation that they ask usually in the question number 2, part C, part D, it's usually quite similar like from the equation. And this is what I'm saying is that if you already practice, then the question is kind of similar by concept. Maybe it's kind of a different topic. It's about like different topic. For example, it's not sound but it's light, but it's still similar, like which part is the gradient. Also for physics, if you have trouble finding the answers, first of all, just take a look at the mark schemes, try to understand, or take a look at the answer sheet for your textbook questions, like what is the answer key. Try to reverse engineer from the final answer to the beginning and try to understand each step in the answer sheet. If you can understand the mark scheme, then you probably understand how to solve the question. But if you still haven't understand the mark scheme, then you can come to your school teacher, ask your friends about it. And as usual, you can also search the internet, search Google. There's a lot of things on Google, on YouTube. Maybe people make tutorials about past papers. Then you can just watch those. If you still haven't find your answer somehow, somewhere, maybe you can find a tutor to help you towards the end of the year. Or maybe in term 4, I have like a study partner or even partners. There are some of my friends who study with me every week or so, or maybe just before a task. And having that partner to study with, we can like remind each other which topics we have not covered, we have not learned, and we can like solve the problems together. It is more motivating when we do it together somehow. Because there's a quote, right? If you wanna go far, go together. If you wanna go fast, go alone. What I mean is, it's kind of true having someone to go through the journey with you. And I do think that there are people who go through the journey with you. Your teachers, for instance, your friends at school, or maybe you have a tutor. Those are the people who help you along the journey. I do think that they help me to stay consistent throughout the year, to help me study even when I don't feel like studying, or even when I'm left behind. I can always catch up with people helping me and finish well during the exam. I want to share that I had the exam, I have the teacher examination at home. It was online. It means that I did the paper 5 digitally here in this laptop. Therefore, if you are going to do the task digitally, drawing graph digitally, it's kind of different with drawing graph on paper. And the key here is to just practice using the application, whatever you're gonna use. For example, you're using exam.net. Then a few days before the exam, a few weeks before the exam, spend some time to get to know how to use the application really well. This way, you will not spend a lot of time getting to know how to use things during the exam hours. But you already know where to draw the line, where to label it, and all those other functions. For other more general tips that can also apply to the different subjects in A levels, I created a video on how I got 3 A stars and 1 A right here, and you can watch the video. I hope it can also help you. I do think that it can complement this video. Anyways, thank you for watching. I hope this video helps you to achieve the best possible marks for your physics examination. If you like this video, please leave a like down below. If you have any questions, leave it in the comment. If you want more videos from me, subscribe to this channel, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye y'all!